Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can create and collect custom payments from users using the Wix Pay API. So basically we are creating a logic where you give out a user or someone who owes you money a private code, and then they come on a web page like this, enter their payment code, and it retrieves the amount that needs to be processed from a database. So the first thing that we're going to do is create a database. Name your database payments or whatever you want to, and inside the database you need to have four different elements, columns. First one is the quantity column, which will be of type number. This will indicate how many of the products you are charging the user for. Next one is the price per quantity, and we call it price in the database. So basically if you're selling two items priced at $5 each, you're going to enter quantity of 2 and price of 5, which translates to $10. The third column will be the product name, is what you're selling, and the fourth and the last column will be unique code, which you will give out to the user. Once you've created a database and published your site, go in your content manager, which can be opened from your site's dashboard, left hand side, content manager, and click on the database. In this instance I've created the database payments, and I'm going to add a new item. So the unique code should be dudelemon.com-webdev. Product name is development package. Price would be $5,000 and quantity is 2. Save. Once you've done this, you can hand out this custom code to your user, and once the user enters this code, the payment process will start. This is what the code on the page would look like. So you have a button and you have an input element. Input element is used to enter the code. The button will have an on-click event handler which will process the code. What the code does is it calls the backend function process and sends the code that the user has entered. Once the backend function receives this code, it queries the payments database for the code user has entered. If it finds a code, it will create a payment object using the Wix Pay API and return the payment ID to the front end. Once the payment ID is returned, you can start the payment using the ID received from the backend. And once the payment is processed, you can take an action depending on the status of the payment by either redirecting them to the success page or showing an error message based on the payment status. So this is the API that we're using, and the function is create payment. You can take a look at the entire payment object, or what you can send, user information if you want to send that to, and on the front end we use the Wix Pay API, specifically the start payment function, which will trigger the payment. Now in order for this to work, your website must have a premium plan, and your plan must allow you to accept payments. So as you can see, on the website plans they do not allow you to accept payments, but on the business and e-commerce plan you are allowed to accept payments on your website. Once you have done this, upgraded your site, you can go under settings and then accept payments, and you can set up one of the multiple ways that is available to you, either PayPal, or if you are in a country that supports Stripe and have a Stripe account, Stripe, and there's a lot of payment options based on your geographical location, and Wix will process the payment via that particular payment processor. And let's go ahead and test this out first. So let's say I enter Dude Lemon web So this code is invalid because this code does not exist in the database that we just created. Let's go ahead and see which code exists. So web dev, and you're seeing this window because I do not have a premium plan on this website, and neither do I have payment set up. So it actually shows that this function actually works, but it's just that we've not set up the necessary process required for it. So when I click on got it, we're gonna get this is the object that is returned. We're gonna get a status of cancelled, and the payment is correct, $10,000, because remember we had two quantity of 5,000. So $10,000, and the item is development package, $5,000, quantity 2, everything is confirmed. Now if the status was returning as successful, you can redirect them to a success page. If it's pending, you can redirect them or show a light box showing that we are verifying your payment. And once the payment is confirmed, actually there is no current way to send a notification from the backend, because many of you can depend on the front end object which is returned from start payment, and you can, like, basically you want to do something like this: if payment dot status is equal to successful, then you'll want to take some sort of action like sending an email or whatever, based on your use case. I think this is a wrong way, or not the appropriate way to process payments, because uh, actions which should occur post payment should always happen in the backend, not on the front end, because there are 100 things that can go wrong, and you'll have angry customers or a major headache. In the perfect scenario, the Wix Pay backend should have an event which should say on payment successful, and then based on the event, you could take actions on your backend by sending the user a receipt or whatever action that you want to perform, sending them a PDF file or giving them access to the member area. There's lots of things we can do, but the Wix payment backend events do not have this event for when payment is successful. So currently we cannot cater fully for this scenario, and that's why I do not use Wix payments, and I do not recommend you use Wix payments. There's a much better alternative which is called Stripe, and you can use Stripe's API to process payments and then take actions based on webhooks to process post pay actions. But yeah, this video is basically about how to use Wix Pay. So let me know if this was educational, and let me know what you want to see more in videos by me. Thank you.